Greetings, adventurers, and well met. Master of Dungeons here on the Master of Dungeons Twitch channel, twitch.tv/the Master of Dungeons. It is Tuesday. Sorry, I've been gone for the past few days. I was struggling with a little bit of the COVID over the weekend and starting to feel a little bit better today. Able to actually talk a little bit without coughing and such. It is Tuesday, which means it's Dungeons and Deliberations. We just answer questions. If viewers pop in, we just talk about D&D, answer any questions. Thank you very much for welcoming me back, Reese. Good to see you. Just working on some DM prep for this virtual D&D weekend coming up and just answering DM questions or anything that anyone wants to talk about. Right now, we're just working on the adventure Day at the Races, which goes back to season 7 for the Tomb of Annihilation season, 2016, a while back. Just going through and putting together the adventure. As I'd mentioned previously, we had finished up the City on the Edge, which we were working on a little bit last week. I like to go through and set them up very similar. It's like if we scroll down, I actually made a room with the base of the Tomb of Annihilation. So basically, how the Tomb of Annihilation has each chapter set up, everything's ready to go as it would be in the book. You can just go through and open different sections. That's the way that I have everything set up. Hey Nova, how's it going? No, my head's about to explode from being sick all weekend. what it looks like. But yeah, I set the adventures up very similar to the way that they set up the hardcovers in the Roll20 set up when you purchase them from there. That way, I have everything inside. I know some people, and you do have the ability, of course, to put in PDFs. Like I've added in the PDF for the Adventures League Player's Guide for those that are playing. They can always come through and reference the PDF if need be. But we'll put the adventure in, and that's what we're doing right now. We're actually working on part 3. We've got part 1 and part 2. This is the final part. Part 3 is the last one to put in here. Exposed immediate temporary. If they bring back Divine Smites, I hope they do. We'll be looking at the rest of playtest 7 tomorrow, the Player's Handbook. As of right now, from the last playtest, they took Divine Smite away from Paladins. B, not okay, Corral. Is that Corral or Coral? How the way they put it on there? Unfortunately, unlike the first PDF we were working with, this one is not as formatted as the other one would pretty much format straight to the copy and paste. This one we've got to change around a little bit. Never happened like Highlander 2. If you ignore it, it didn't happen. Like 4th edition. Yeah, it's so weird that they were taking away the. I liked the change in the first couple of players' handbooks where they said they can still do it, but they only can do it once a turn, which is great. I think that's awesome. Um, if they do it that way, I don't want them to limit it to just a maximum of 5d6, because I mean your main thing for a rogue is your sneak attack, and the sneak attacks get better. They can only do it once a turn. Obviously, if you have a character that allows you to like that has perhaps maybe a battle master, or maybe a different types of casters have that ability to do something that allows you to use to allow a companion to use their reaction to make an attack, allowing them to still um, make that sneak attack or make that divine smite on that turn. That'd be great. I just would like to see them bring it back to where it's once a turn, and it's not, the amount of dice is not limited. So if you happen to spend a 5th level spell slot, obviously it's the highest spell levels that a paladin can get. You'd still be able to get, 6 dice, 7 dice if it's a fiend or undead or something like that would be nice. D&D 5e Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, nice. And as I mentioned before, when I'm putting these in, you'll see, like, for example, I use these quotes. They use them in most of their adventures in Roll20 to use the box text. Um, I use the quotes as the sidebars. You always have the sidebar off assist. It gives you a little explanation about something, and then you actually create a table with just one space in it to use that as creating the box text from an adventure. Unfortunately, with this one, you have to do it line by line. So far, they're making us so we're going to ignore this edition like it was fourth edition, except the less popular. I don't know. The thing about it though is I have noticed, like I said, I'm reacting to them on the streams as I'm reading them. Because I haven't, like, I have not read beyond what had done last week with it, and luckily, um, most of the stuff that they've been changing back has been stuff that I've talked about in previous streams about not messing around with stuff. The one thing I was noting is that a lot of their subclasses weren't aligning with older subclasses, and if you want to be backwards compatible, you definitely have to make sure that your classes are all getting their subclasses and stuff like that, all their abilities and traits and stuff at the same levels instead of jacking things up. I think I mentioned in a previous stream actually going through and trying to, once all the stuff with everything's calmed down, especially once I get finished with the streams of the Red Wizards, gonna go back to creating some more of my own stuff for the DM's Guild. But I was thinking about creating a supplement that allows characters for fifth edition to basically you can mix and match your character. You don't necessarily pick a specific class. When you get to certain levels, you have certain options that you can spend to be able to, like, pick up spellcasting, to pick up this feature from a different subclass. So each one of these different features, like say you do want to play classes, when you're a fighter, you get to third level, and you don't actually pick a subclass. You just pick what ability that a subclass would get at third level. You pick that, and then when you get to seventh level, when you would get your next one, you go through and you pick which of the features you want from each of the subclasses, just to see what fun types of characters you can make that way. That's going to be interesting, because with the backwards compatibility, since we play a lot of Adventurers League, that is going to be an interesting question. The vast majority of D&D players don't play Adventurers League, which is cool. Um, but that's going to be a very interesting question for Adventurers League. For Adventurers League, it's most likely going to be the most updated rule. For example, if you're just playing normal D&D and you're not playing Adventurers League, you can still use everything from Volos and everything you want from Mordekaiser's Tome of Foes, even though a lot of that stuff, most of the stuff, all of the stuff was updated in Mordekaiser's Monsters of the Multiverse. People still use the old stuff. Like they issued the errata for Healing Word. Well, unless you're playing Adventurers League, you don't even have to follow any of it. But I think that with a lot, again, like I said, most of it is playtesting. So not necessarily even the final result might not even look anything like what they have in the playtest, which is fine. I do like the idea that they mentioned in this most recent player playtest material is that they're going back to the class spell list, which is something I said. The whole idea of having arcane, divine, and primal spell lists is just keep the class lists as they were. We're going to hear a lot of clicking from my loud keyboard. Ankle sore and 4 Velociraptor zombies. Oops. Copy instead of bold. I'm actually going to move this PDF over here on my other monitor. Make it a little bit better. There we go. Of our adjusting the encounter section. Keep looking over to check the chat as my computer, I shut off my VPN before we got started, and then for some reason or another, it turned it back on. And it keeps having, for some reason, when I have my VPN on, it keeps reloading me into the chat. All right. As I mentioned last week, so it's a Ectosaur zombie is what it's supposed to be. There we go. And as I mentioned before, one of the reasons I know that it's a little bit more work to do it this way, but at the same time, like I mentioned before, um, doing as much prep as you can ahead of stuff will save you time later on down the road. That way, if I take all the time to do all this ahead of time, when it comes time to do all the events and all the future things like that, I'll just have to copy a room. I won't have to put in a bunch of extra stuff in there. Everything will already be prepped. I think we've even got, no, the only thing we're going to have left to do really after we get this one in here is go through and get our folder for our spell templates, which will take maybe 15, 20 minutes to put all the spell templates in here for the players. We don't have to put in the player character sheets anymore. I still do it. I still put a folder in here with blank character sheets so that the players have access to them. All the players now can get into Roll20 rooms. They'll have the add character button here so they can add their own character sheets now, which is really awesome. Mhm. And I would, of course, turn off my VPN while we're streaming, but unfortunately, when that happens, it ends up uh, turning off the stream. Into all the night serpents. This is another thing too that's very interesting, is that this is a adventure tier one. Um, and this is also why I tell DMs that they don't have to, when especially with AL Adventurers League, organized play, that raw means rules as written, not run as written. Like, for example, this is a tier one adventure. The characters might be level 2 or level 3 when they start this adventure, and they have a DC 20 intelligence investigation check in this adventure. I will automatically am going to drop that to like a DC 15. I'm not going to make them make a DC 20 check for this information. Go ahead and give us a little bit more room to work. Put another box text right here. This is the adventure that I am supposed to stream on this coming Sunday evening. We try to stream the Sunday evening games from Virtual D&D Weekend. And this adventure, Day of the Races, is the one that I'm supposed to be streaming on Sunday evening. Good old Soggy Wren. I think he made an appearance in Icewind Dale, Rime of Frostmaiden, GDL Adventures as well. This is back when they did a lot of the stuff for the factions. Which they really don't do that much with the factions anymore. Throws this in and we'll fix up the text. And they switched a lot of different things. Like they had notes. They used to have notes in the adventures about like role playing a character here. Now they basically have a bit of information about their a small little information about their history. Then they basically have what do they want, and then one personal thing like their bond. They don't have any, even have any quotes anymore like they used to. See, for example, like the reason why they give you a DC 20 check on that is uh, it's supposed to be hard to find. I get that. Then they have, if the characters don't find it, the NPC finds it for them. Um, I am all a fan of writing in fail safes for the characters to find the information because lots of times they're going to have to find information to further the story, obviously, further the plot of the adventure. Um, but you don't have to write in fail safes if you don't make things extremely difficult. Like 20 is extremely difficult for a level 2 character, level 3 character. But then having to write a fail safe in that you made it already hard enough, and then you have the NPC come in and rescue the characters is not something I'm a fan of. Again, not talking about the story or the adventure itself. It's a great adventure. The season 7 adventures were just amazing, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to come back to run them. We did have some requests from some of my players and some of the players on the Discord server asking for season 7 stuff. So I decided we're going to go ahead and run some season 7 stuff at the virtual D&D weekends. Nope. Spell Scroll of Ice Knife. Refuses. Now we'll have to go. And as I mentioned before, I do um since we are playing Adventures League, it is Adventures League Adventure. Obviously, you do not have to play any Adventures League adventures as Adventures League. You can, if you play homebrew, I would definitely recommend buying Adventures League adventures because they have some great stories that you can, and lots of great opportunity to homebrew as well. A lot of these adventures, and they're lots of them are fairly inexpensive, $5 to $10 for an adventure. You can get them at on the DMs Guild. But for example, this faction assignment for the Harpers is a legacy content, as there's not really extra XP or renown anymore in the Adventures League. So I put legacy beside it. Nice. I could learn how to remember how to spell gauntlet, right? All right, then we'll go through, get rid of all the extra space we gave ourselves. We'll save, and part 3 is completely done. We pop it open. We have everything there that we need. All of our sidebars, all of our box text, everything's in there already. If we even go to non-dark mode, it's going to be a little bright. Woo! Everything's all put in there properly. We have everything that's supposed to be italicized, and all of that stuff. So weird looking at it without dark mode on. All right, so part 3 is finished. We'll pull that down here. Oops, let's go ahead first and close City on the Edge. And sometimes they don't put in specific handouts that the players might need. Like, for example, there's a race in this. Obviously, it's called a day of the races, so kind of create a handout that gives them information about what they can do during that part. So that's a handout that we put into the thing. As I mentioned before, we can go through and actually embed the handouts in the adventures. So if we come down here, we can go ahead and embed that handout into the adventure itself. That way, when we're running the adventure, we can just go, oh yeah, okay, so characters are free to attack the other teams, defend their own team, blah, blah, blah. Give the players the Grand Prix Royal handout, and just be able to open it up right there, show the players, and give them the handout without having to go back into your journals or anything of that nature. So now we're at the rewards. We'll go ahead and copy the rewards page. Do I have one copied? We did not. We'll copy our rewards from mission 5. Duplicate. Cancel. Now, the cool thing about these missions is that the missions in the first adventure, technically, the characters are allowed to level up after every one of them because it is considered an adventure in its own right, each mission. Obviously, these adventures are only made for level 1 and level 2 characters. So if a player plays and wants to level to level 3, without playing all of them, then they can't play any more of the adventures. So basically, what I'm recommending that the players do is just wait and only take one left, especially if they want to play through the whole storyline, is to wait because we did put our game information here of all the adventures that we are going to be running in this series. So obviously, this is for level 1, 2, 3. The level to 2, level to 3, level to 4. Then after Whispers in the Dark, they'll level to 5, which puts them into tier 2, which starts the tier 2 adventures. Level to 6, level to 7, level to 8, level to 9, level to 10, and then after this one, level to 11, which will put them into the tier 3 adventures, and so on, to get them all the way up to basically 20th level by starting for a first level character and playing through the whole storyline. All right, so that's the rewards for 5. We're going to close that back down. Scroll all the way down here. For some reason, it puts new things at the top, puts copy things at the bottom. We're going to go through and change this rewards to reward for mission. Rewards for 03. All the other stuff's the same except for the treasure that's here. There's a lot of treasure in here. I'll have to redo some of this, which is okay. Come back and change everything else around here in a second once we get it all put in. Oh, I should put that in. I'm gonna try something here and see how horrible that looks. You'll find out. All right, excellent. My familiar is awakened, but my wife is home today, so we should be all good. Then what we're going to do is we're going to Take all these, make them a header 5, switch them back to normal. That way they're all grouped up nicely. And then we just got to change the magic items. So this magic item is going to spell scroll of ice knife and a +1 quarterstaff. I don't think there's any. Oh yes, okay. So legacy members of Harper's. Okay, group 7, season 7. We're on tier 3 now. I do. You talking about from the hardcover itself, from the TOA hardcover? Oh yeah, I do too. Same thing, allowing them to buy Yukula. Was that how you pronounce their the really awesome, cool looking the YKLA Yukula? Hikula? That weapon. I allow them to purchase those types of things. I let them purchase stuff out of the hardcover. Same thing, yeah, Triceratops. Same thing for Icewind Dale. That's why I allow the players to buy the cold weather gear. If you want to buy snowshoes, things like that, gave them access to that. Yeah. And there's 10 downtime after a normal adventure. We'll have to put in all of the different handouts. We'll do that here real quick. This is going to be a spell scroll. And there are a couple of story wars. We have race first to race. Then we have winner, winner, raptor dinner. All right. No, hold on a second. That's complete. There. And as I mentioned, this is a legacy player award. The players this weekend were not going to get this. Yeah, take care, Reese. Have a good one. Are not going to get this reward, obviously, but I do put it in there just to make sure that I've got all of the information from the adventure. So we've got rewards 03, got the gold value in there. We don't put the XP that they have listed in the old adventures just because Adventures League uses the milestones, just like most of the new hardcovers are going to, is using the milestones for advancement. So now what we got to do is we'll go through and we'll make some handouts. Let's see, do we have a quarterstaff +3 already in the magic items here? Unless they just have a weapon. Probably don't have it actually listed as a. Yeah, it just says weapon +1, 2, or 3. So what we'll do is we'll put a +1 quarterstaff handout. Or quarterstaff +1. We can scroll down here to the weapon and probably copy a little bit of the info out of here. Quarterstaff. Weapon, quarterstaff, uncommon. don't think there's anything special about it. Oh yeah, there is something. Okay. Flavor in there. Make sure to get the flavor because it does supposed to look really cool. Here we go. Quarterstaff +1. Quarterstaff +1's there. Then we'll go through and we'll edit our rewards again. To embed it into the handout, all we have to do is put a uncapitalized bracket and close bracket. And we save it. And there we go. We have our quarterstaff +1 linked in there. Spell scroll of Ice Knife. So what we're going to go through is we're going to copy this spell scroll of Healing Word. And that is a, let's see. We'll get the text of Ice Knife out here for us. For some reason, the way these copy, it's going to be interesting. I'll be able to show you here. Put the rewards over there for now. First little spell, we went ahead and copied all the text there. For some reason, it copies these out as crazy looking setup there. So what we'll do is we'll go through and we'll remove anything from it. We'll click it to normal. And then what we'll do is get rid of the first little conjuration. That's already there. All right, and then again, real quick, we'll do this. Now that I mentioned before, special like if you're doing homebrew games, your own home games, your own group games with your friends, you're doing free to play games or anything like that, you don't have to be even close to as uh, intent on the presentation as I am with doing these adventures here. But when players are playing to play a game, I want to make sure, at least from my perspective, that everything is uh, presented nicely for them. So now I have a spell scroll. Oops, edit. Let's drop this copy of spell scroll. And that's done with the magic items. Close that down. Again, scroll down to open bracket, close bracket. Spell School of Ice and Ice is now linked for the players, and then we just have to do the story awards. First to race. Really doesn't apply too much now since the players don't have to spend any downtime or anything. What's going on there? I don't have to spend any downtime for lifestyle or I should say coin for lifestyle or anything like that anymore. But it's still cool to have, you know. Hey, I got this story award from this adventure. We'll pull that down here beneath the Grand Prix roll there. And winner, winner, Raptor dinner. All right, so that's all the rewards. Let's see, you got the quarterstaff, you got the gold in the setup, we've got the story awards. Um, oops, if I could spell. Hitting buttons I shouldn't be. Also, I set these rooms up the way I do. Also, in the event that a DM or even myself, like for example, with me being sick this weekend, um, if someone needs to jump in and step in to run the adventure, if I'm sick or someone else wants to run a Tomb of Annihilation adventure or something like that, um, these will be ready to go. Not only for myself, but for other DMs if they need them. All right, so we have Alistair Bowl. Mabula Utukulu. Utakulu. Let's go ahead and we're going to do this 03 at the end of it because there'll be a number of appendix dramatis personae, and if we have to link them in or anything like that, we want to make sure that it has its own title in case we need to embed them. When you embed those, the handout you want to send it to has to be spelled exactly the same, which is why normally you only capitalize when you're doing adventures. You'll notice that sometimes at the end, the magic item will be like the first letter's capitalized and the rest of it's all lowercase, or not even capitalized at all. But you will note that they're to embed them, everything has to be the exact same as the name of the handout that you're putting in there. That was that. Now we're looking for monsters. We'll come down here. Again, as I mentioned, we put our TOA in here. That way we can make sure that we have our ankylosaur zombie. We've got that. I've already gone through and set it up, I believe, to where you can see exactly perfect. So we don't have to worry about an ankylosaur zombie. Now the question is, do we have a velociraptor zombie? We have a velociraptor, but we do not have a velociraptor zombie. I'm going to check. I'm not sure if I still even have that room. Excited. That was one of the first adventures I ran for Adventures League when we started playing in 2016. Played on, 5th edition since it came out. But let me see if I've got. I do not have a Velociraptor zombie in here either. We could make one. It's not a big deal. I can show you. There's also something really cool to show people how to make their own stuff. Let's go ahead and do that. I believe, though, we want to. Let's see if we got. Let's take us for a zombie. We'd have a Velociraptor token in here. We'll just use that. We'll just create a Velociraptor zombie. They got the stat block right here in the adventure. Character. It's just based off of a regular zombie anyway, which is fine. Make it an NPC page as soon as it opens up. It is a medium undead. Neutral evil. Little velociraptors, huh? I guess that would be completely total selfishness, which is how I always viewed neutral evil. Plus 9. Speed is 20, only 20 feet. What is a zombie? 13 strength, 6 dex, 16 con, 3 intelligence, 6 wisdom and 5 charisma. It's got a wisdom save at 0, but we'll go ahead and put these in anyway. 1 minus 2, 3 minus 4, 0 minus 3. No skills, damage immunity, poison. Condition immunity is poisoned. Dark vision, 60 feet. Passive perception is 8. No languages, challenge rating quarter. Never Whisper Rolls is already on. I stopped putting if it's a named monster, if it's a named NPC, I've switched around to where I add the Dex tiebreaker to initiative to make it a little bit more tension. I'm not using the Dex tiebreaker to initiative for just normal monsters because if there's ties, I always let the players go first anyway. And as long as the players are using their Dex bonus for the breaking the initiative ties, it's awesome. So we got to put in Undead Fortitude. Then we got to put in its bites instead of a slam. +3 to hit. 1 target. Damage is 1d6 +1. Piercing. Its hit points are 22. And its AC is 8. Update default token. Save it. And we have a Velociraptor zombie. Already started. It's all good. All right, Velociraptor zombie. Now, we've got a map to put in here. They've got the different legs. I'm going to check something here beforehand. I'm going to try to do some fills here to see if we can change some stuff around. Nope, it's not going to work. We are going to go ahead though and add another map here. Now, for example, went through and did all the maps for the first adventure. So we've gone through and labeled them 07.1. So we know that it's from the first adventure. That way, when we go through and put new stuff in here, we can end up archiving a lot of the maps, not having cluttering up our maps up here. Eventually, we'll do that with the token pages once we go through and make sure that every token the players can see the hit point bar, not the total, but the hit point bar at least of the creatures. And you don't have to keep relying to them or relaying to them how damaged they are. Not sure what size we're going to need, so let's just move over there. I'm just going to refresh here real quick and get rid of that. Hopefully that open sheet will get rid of that. Okay, there's our blank map. We'll go to the map layer. Zoom out a little bit. Let's get our map. Season 7. Oops. And so the map, well, we might have to, probably won't have to do too much on here because I don't think that we need to do anything about distances or whatever, but it kind of gives them a path that they're following. But what we can do is we can do this. First, let's make it into a drawing. So we move it, it doesn't automatically start trying to connect it to the grid. Now we can go ahead and go advance, take it off of the drawing. All right. Get rid of 3 over there. Now there's different line, like there's a yellow leg, and blue leg, and an orange leg is the final leg. What we're going to do is we can put a draw or polygon draw. See, the second one is the yellow legs. So what we're going to do is draw that. Our first leg, let's go back to the black color. Next one is blue. And then the last one is orange. All right, so that's the map of how the race is supposed to go after the first leg, the second leg, the third leg, and the final leg. All right, so that'll give them the race map. Let's go ahead and turn the opacity of the lines down. That way there's still a grid, but we don't need to worry about it. And there, I don't think there's a distance marker on here, which is fine. All right, we're good there. Now we need the other map. Make sure to save the proper folder this time. Make sure we're still in the map layer. Now this one, what we're going to do is we're going to have the roll 20 help us out. And do most of the work by getting as close. What we'll do is zoom out a little bit here. Let's turn on the line's a little darker. Also, we're going to need a lot more width. Let's add 10 more to the width. Nice. The difficult thing with some of these drawings, some of these maps, is that they're not exactly. We'll get it done. We'll get as close as we can here, though. So those are going to have to go up, it looks like. We'll get most of the horizontal lines lined up. All right, we'll just add a couple more to the width again. We can take more out if we need to. That could be pulled a little, just a smidge. Not a whole lot. There we go. All right. We can take off two over there. There we go. Board color, we're going to put a grayish color. All right, let's switch off the map layer real quick. Let's do dynamic lighting. Turn that on, turn on explore mode. It is daylight. Update token when drop. We're going to go ahead and turn off the grid's still on. We're just turning the opacity down. All right, so it is daylight now. Lighting. Again, I like to make my walls purple. Stand out a little bit more. We'll do some of the trees. Basically kind of representing the trunk of the tree itself. I don't know anything but rubble. Now we're just in doors. And door line color, I'll always like to use orange. Windows, I use yellow. Feel free to pick whatever suits your tastes. Put that door there, open a door here. We'll go to the pick. We'll pick this up, then we'll hold down shift. Let's move it up here. That's right there's fine. About right in there. That way we have some dynamic lighting set up for the characters as well. It is daylight, so they don't have to worry about light. And in this one, there is, let's see here, what was it? An ankle sword zombie and 4 velociraptor zombies. So we'll go back to the token. Our velociraptor zombies. We're going to put these on the GM layer for now. Actually, no, we'll leave them on that layer. We're going to actually add the adjustments. You need another ankylosaur zombie, and we need 2 more of those. Okay, so we're actually going to copy this one. We're going to go to the GM layer. So if it's a strong party, we replace all of the velociraptors with one ankylosaur. And if it's very strong, we'll add a second ankylosaur. So we just need the one. We don't need the two there. Okay. We also do need a commoner to represent the little girl. And the mother to represent the mother. Screaming, help. Let's go change the name. That way we can see it's changed. All right, so that map is all finished up. The other map is all done. Go back to our workshop here. We have the puzzle handouts to do. Okay, it's puzzle design for 3 to 7 players. Puzzles 7 has hints. Okay. It's going to have, I could see why they give that a, so now we're going to need, see here, letter puzzles. This is going to be the tide, but, oops. Learn how to spell puzzles. We need 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 by 6 table. So we have 3 players. What's going to happen is basically the players have to go dive down to find these clay tablets. So have the letters on them. If they're going to get them in a certain order, then have to figure them out. And we have two player handouts. I think for this one, I'm going to take a screenshot to put in the handout for the players. Or handout one. I'm going to take that out of there because we're going to do something specific here in a little bit. And let's go ahead and open our PDF over here, zoom in a little bit so we can get a bigger, better picture for our screenshot. There we go. Save that. Add our betting table into the image. There we go. So the players can definitely be able to see the table. Perfect. And we're probably going to make a folder for all these appendices. That way we can put them in their own folder. Only first race winner out of there. That's story awards. So what we're going to do is go up here to number 1, and we're going to find where our handout. Oh, happened there? Okay, ready, set, bet. Here we go. All right, so we should have then to go through the Derby, get all that, and then we have, why is that not? I wonder if it's because it's bold. Doesn't appear to be working for some reason. I'll have to figure that out later. Well, we just got one more handout to put in. Mascots. And we're going to give them another handout, another picture. And that is finishing up the adventure. So that way, when we go to run this weekend, we'll have for both of our adventures, we'll have everything we need. For like our first mission has all the stuff we need there. Second one, all the way third, all the way through. It's got all our information that we need for the players as well. And we've got 03 all finished up also. So everything will be in there and we'll have access to it, Which will bring us to the end of the stream today. Thanks for those of you stopped in early and had some chat. We will be back tomorrow, of course, with our Tavern Talks with the Shifty Board going over the playtest 7 material. The deadline for submitting in feedback for that is this Thursday. So hopefully we'll get through that tomorrow and maybe even have a chance on stream to go through and answer the survey on D&D Beyond with that. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Tavern Talks with the Shifty Board. Thanks, of course, to all of our supporters, especially our patrons from Patreon. If you'd like to help support the channel, please consider becoming a patron or subbing here on Twitch, twitch.tv/The Master of Dungeons. We love Prime subs as well. Hook up your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account. This is the last week of September was the end of last week. It is October, the month of Halloween. So, of course, if you want to become a patron or help us out that way, the link to our Patreon page as well as our YouTube channel and all of our other social media accounts can be found in the About Us section below here on Twitch. If you want to subscribe to us on YouTube, it's free. Like, comment on the videos, share them, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Give us some likes, retweets, all of that good stuff. Every sub, like, and share helps us immensely. If you want, you can also join the Master of Dungeons community Discord server below. Just click on the Discord panel in the About Us section. Joining that, where you can help shape an accepting, caring, and inclusive community. The merch store will definitely help support the channel as well. It is available down below, also in the About Us section. We do have some wonderful t-shirts up there, some glassware, some hats, hoodies, stuff like that. So definitely pick up some of the merch from our merch store. Of course, thanks for watching, and we will be back tomorrow again, as I mentioned, at 2 p.m. Eastern for some Tavern Talks with the Shifty Board. As always, happy adventuring. Take care.